learning Serere, Diang Serere. So in this lecture, number 18, we will learn about present and present perfect tenses in Serere. First, let's start by the personal pronouns. Me. Me. Me in Serere means I. Me or myself. Okay? Me. So we use the personal pronouns to emphasize the doer of the action, to emphasize who is doing the action. In general, we can just forget about the personal pronouns. Me. Me. Wo. Me. Wo. Wo means you. Me. Wo. Ten. So ten means he or she. So repeat. Me. Wo. Ten. Me means I, myself, me. Wo means you. Ten means he or she. In. In means we, us. In. Nun. Nun. Nun means you in plural. Den. Den. Den is they or them or themselves. Okay. Den. Me. Wo. Ten. In. Nun. Den. Again, they are here just to emphasize the one who is doing the action. So now let's revise a little bit of lesson number 16. We want to conjugate the verb to have in the present tense. Jeg. Jeg. What do you remember? How do you say I have? Jegam. Jegam. I have jegam. If I want to emphasize the doer of the action, you will say me jegam. Me jegam. Me, basically myself, me, I. So I'm emphasizing the doer of the action. Jegam. Me, I have something. So jegam plus something. Okay. You have, you remember? Jega. So if I want to emphasize you, I will say wo jega. Me jegam, wo jega. In general, we'll just say jegam, jega. Okay? We will forget about the personal pronoun. It's just an optional thing, okay? When we want to emphasize who is doing the action. So jegam, jega, ajega, ajega. He or she has. Injega. This is a plural. Injega. Unjega, anjega. Okay, so focus with me here. Jegam, jega, ajega, injega, nunjega, anjega. So we learned this in lesson number 16 already. But here I'm just showing you if I add these personal pronouns, okay? Me jegam, wo jega, tena jega, in injega, nun nunjega, den anjega. Okay? So again, the personal pronouns are optional. You use them only when you want to emphasize. For instance, I say nunjega, nun nunjega. You have something important. If I want to emphasize the doer of the action. Now, let me give you an example. Ndax nunjega osis. So I go to a shopkeeper and I ask them, Ndax nunjega osis? Do you have milk available for sale? Ndax nunjega osis? You see? Nunjega, you have, okay? Do you have milk? Okay. Great. So now let's come back to lesson number 18 and we will conjugate the verb to love, to like, in the present tense. In Serere, we say boug, boug, boug. So boug means to love or to like. So we say bougam. So you add am. Bougam, I love. If I want to emphasize, I will say me bougam. Me, I love this. Okay. Me bougam. But in general, when I just say bougam, you know that I'm talking about me. Okay. Bougam plus something. Wo buga. Wo buga. So I just say buga. Okay, I add a. You love. Bougam. I love buga. Abuga. Abuga. Abuga means he or she loves or likes. Okay? When I say abuga, of course you know that it's 10. 10 abuga. Okay, but again it's optional. So bugam, buga, abuga. Now we love, how do you say that? Imbuga. Imbuga, we love or we like. In imbuga, if I say in imbuga, we, us, we love. Okay, imbuga, in imbuga. Nun numbuga, numbuga, you love in plural, numbuga, ambuga. Okay, then ambuga, they love. Okay, then ambuga. So let me repeat again. Bugam, buga, abuga, imbuga, numbuga, ambuga. Okay, bugam, I just add am to say I love. Buga, I just add a, you love. Abuga, imbuga, remember plural, I have to put, this m here because it starts by b. Imbuga, numbuga, ambuga. If you want to emphasize, you can add these personal pronouns. An example, imbuga chalel for jom. Imbuga chalel for jom. I can say in imbuga chalel for jom. We love work and dignity. Okay, chalel means work. You remember jal. Jal. Jal means to laugh or to work. Now a work, and let's say 8 to 5 work, that's chalel. Jom is a very important concept for Serere and for Senegalese in general. It means dignity, but it has many meanings actually. Okay, it's more profound than that, but just we can say dignity, jom. So now let's conjugate the verb to study or to learn, but this time in the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense will behave like a present here. Okay, so same type of rule. So the verb to study or to learn is jang. We already learned that. You remember jang serere, learn serere. Jang means to learn. Okay, jang. Now if I want to say I have learned jangam. Okay, here it's a present perfect tense. I have learned jangam. I just add am. If I want to emphasize, I say mi jangam. I have learned. I have studied. Wo janga. You just add a. You have learned. Okay. In Serere, of course, it's like a present, but if I want to translate it in English, it's a present perfect. But same structure. Jangam, janga, ajanga, injanga, nunjanga, anjanga. Mi jangam, if I want to emphasize, wo janga, you have studied, you have learned. Ten ajanga, he or she has learned. In injanga, nun nunjanga, den anjanga. Okay, den anjanga means they have studied. Okay, they have learned the lesson. Okay, so don't forget it behaves the same, but it's a present perfect. Now an example, ndax nunjanga adna. Ndax nun janga adna. Ndah, we already talked about this. Ndah means have you, did you, okay? In French, we will say est-ce que. Ndah nun janga adna. Have you studied at the school of life? Ndah, have you, nun janga, studied or learned adna. Adna means world. Okay. Last but not least, especially for Tukulur and Jola and Lebu, they love to eat, mashallah. We all love to eat, by the way. So to eat means nyam. For Pearl, they love nyam, nyam. So to eat means nyam. Now let's conjugate the verb nyam in the present perfect tense. Again, nyamam, I have eaten. Nyama, anyama, inyama, nunyama, anyama. Okay? If I want to emphasize, you say mi nyamam. I have eaten lunch, for instance. Wo nyama, you have eaten. Ten anyama, in inyama, nun nunyama, you have eaten as a group. Den anyama, they have eaten as a group. If you see your good friend anyama mburu, he or she has eaten bread. Pearl and Tukulur, they love bread. Senegalese in general, they love bread. Okay, so this was a lesson today. I hope it was not too technical, but you see the structure, the verb, and then you add nyamam, nyama, anyama, inyama, nunyama, anyama. And you use the personal pronoun to emphasize the doer of the action. In the previous lesson, I told you about anyaja. Do you remember? Go back to the previous lesson, you will see anyaja. Areta, agara. Anyaja, areta, agara. So please, in the section below, in the comment section below, write the corresponding verb. What's the verb of anyaja? What's the verb corresponding to areta? What's the verb corresponding to agara? Of course, they are nyaj, ret, and gar. These are the verbs. Now I want you to write their meaning. What does they mean? And last but not least, conjugate them in the present perfect tense, based on what I told you before. That's your assignment for today. Thank you. Bo ojaflakas, botan cake. See you next time. Peace. Salam.